everyone, I'm Susanna from Halal Travel, and we are the largest travel and lifestyle platform for Muslims in Asia. So we've worked with hundreds of business owners in the food industry, ranging from FMCGs like Nestle, Sadia, to F&B brands like McDonald's and Delifrance, and we've seen how the industry has grown over the past few years. But for this year, what we've seen is that many businesses have been affected by the pandemic, and they are forced to think of different ways to expand to sustain themselves. And one of the ways that brands are considering is packaging their food into ready-to-eat meals. So that's what we see on the business end. And on the consumer end, what we've seen is that increasingly people are having less time to prepare their meals because of their hectic schedules, and there's a stronger demand for convenience. And travelers, on the other hand, form another huge demand for ready-to-eat meals because it's convenient, sometimes more affordable, and sometimes they just want ready-to-eat meals from home because they miss a taste of home. And what we have seen at HHRT is that Muslim consumers are one key market, as we need to find halal food when we travel, and this can be quite a challenge if you are visiting non-Muslim majority countries. So start us to show what's in their luggage when they travel, and it's really interesting because what we found is a lot of ready-to-eat products and chili sauce, because people in this area can't live without chili sauce. And what we saw is that in their luggage, there's full of ready-to-eat products, including Maggi, chili sauce, and one of the brands that almost everyone has is Brahims. So today I'm really honored to have Dato Seri Ibrahim with me, who is the founder and also executive chairman of the Rina and Behaviour Holdings Berhad. With more than 50 products across different categories like rice, sauces, dishes such as everyone's favorite beef rendang, Brahim specializes in ready-to-eat meals and products. So we are very excited to learn more about how Brahim has developed their global ready-to-eat strategy. So without further delay, let's welcome Dato Seri.
Good morning. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Ibrahim. I was born in Penang, 1947. So I'm a Penangite. My background actually is a master's in food science and also a diploma in agriculture. And special interest basically in food, both as a hobby and also the serious aspects of it. And I was actually lecturing at the University Putra for 6 years, after which I left the university to join the private sector, which was a government integrated food company, FIMA Berhad, which has 30 over subsidiaries under it, and from the plantations that they have until supermarkets. So basically, it's farm to fork, and so the other companies that I started after that are all food related, and I will go into the journey itself shortly, but basically we are going into the various companies that I became involved in after starting my own manufacturing company. Basically, Ibrahims Holdings, Brahim Sets Food Services, Brahim's Overseas Ventures, Food Japan, Ibrahims Food Japan, Fahim Technologies, the Winner Holdings, the Winner Food Industries, the Winner Trading, etc., and the Winner Consult. So going next to how we started Brahim's journey. So anyway, in 1986, that was when I started the company. We bought a piece of land in Badabarumangi, 5-acre piece, built the factory ground up. It took us 2 years to bring it up. Now, the good thing about this is that that time, the retort pouch technology actually is very new. It was invented by US, and then Japan, 2 years after that, started the technology and commercialized it. So my access to technology was through Japan. I had a partner, Mr. Tatsunobu Abe, who was a Japanese entrepreneur, and he introduced me to this new technology. And we actually became the third company in the world, basically, because US was the inventor of the process, and then Japan 2 years later commercialized the process, and my access through Japan made us actually the first in the region, and for which we were awarded pioneer status. And go to Brahim's journey, and the slide's not keeping up. We'll deal with the brand later. Okay, journey of new lessons, experiences. 1986, the winner was started, basically in terms of construction, and from ground up, we had a Japanese company, Kajima Corporation, to do the building. And then in 1988, after 2 years, after 1.5 years, the factory was ready, and the Prime Minister at that time, Dr. Mahathir, was good enough to agree to come and officiate the opening of the factory, and during which the Behaviour brand was established and launched. We were accorded pioneer status for the innovative technology, and the first being the first using that technology in the region. And during that ceremony, the opening ceremony, we also launched Brahim's brand to the local market. And at that time also, we had our first export of 3 full container loads to Saudi Arabia. Then we started basically because the process actually was developed for military use by US Army R&D, and Japan commercialized it. So it is actually very suitable for usage for the military. And we started supplying to Brunei, Sri Lanka, and we were the first actually to supply the United Nations, the MREs. The United Nations peacekeeping forces at that time, consisting of Indonesians, primarily Pakistanis, and Indians, and many of them are Muslims. So when it was supplied with American MREs, they were saying it's not halal. So they wanted to have halal, and we were identified as a company that does halal for halal MREs. And we started supplying to them. 1991, we started supplying to the Malaysian Armed Forces, and we had various awards and accolades during the time, Europe Award, Export Excellence Award by our Ministry of Trade, and also the Product Excellence Award, and various other commendation award, Best Product Award, and so on. And 1995, that was the culmination of our hard work that we've put in to start the company. We were listed on the Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange, and we became the only Bumiputera food manufacturing company on the exchange at that time. That was in May 1995. And so the products also got a lot of award from the various authorities, Malaysian Institute of Food Technology, and then the various organizers of shows and so on, super brands, and then the Gold Excellence Award in London, and then in Chicago during the food service show in Chicago, we were awarded the Excellence Award for Indonesian rendang sauce, which actually was, very popular, and the Americans beginning to know rendang. And one story about that is that we were doing product tasting demonstration, and then there was one chef who attended the show. He followed his nose, came to see us, and said, "What's this taste here? This smell." And so my staff was thinking that he's about to scold us for bringing this kind of flavors. But then he said, "You take part in this competition that we're having." So we took part in the competition, and we won this Excellence Award for our Indonesian rendang, for Masters of Taste. We also have our Industrial Excellence Award from various organizations, and 2014 SME Star Award, then various other awards, ASEAN Excellence Award, GIFA, and so on. Then products, we have a big range of products, and these are all. When we started this product, we actually started with the MREs. Then from the MREs, that was because we were supplying the military at that time. For MREs, actually means ready to eat. These are actually rice, and then we also have chicken and curries, beef curry, chicken curry, and so on. We started off with that. And so we were marketing MREs first in the country. But then after a while, many of my friends were telling me that you don't expect us or to our wife to open the packet in the house daily. We need something to make us easy, to help us to make it easier to prepare. You know how curries are prepared from the old time where they start using this batu giling, the individual spices are ground, and then it take hours to cook. So what we did was we come up with the sauces, various range of sauces, how to make chicken curry, kurma, rendang and so on, where we put everything into the cooking sauce, and it helps you to make a meal. So this is actually like it's called meal helper. So we were the innovators in this meal helpers to help people make curry, not for just those people who don't know how to make this kind of rendang curries and so on, but it's also for those who don't have the time to actually prepare from scratch. So by using the sauces, you can actually cut down the time to maybe just 10-15%. You just put in the ingredients, whether it is chicken or prawns or fish, whatever, add in the sauce, and then when the main ingredient is cooked, then you have got your rendang, you got the curries, and you got your whatever sauce that you choose to make. Basically, these are all our various products that we have. Then there is this question about MRD production line. Maybe I'll go a bit into how this production starts, or the type of equipment that's required. Basically, you need cooking kettle, major cooking kettles, large cooking kettle, sterilizer, and then these are the two main equipment required. And it's a modern production method, but modern production by using traditional method. I say that because if you look at the production of sauces in Japan, for example, it's all very high volume and fast speed, but then there are certain shortcuts, because if you want to do it fast, you have to put everything together, stir, pack, and so on. But what we decided to do actually is we want natural taste that's been developed, like how you would do home cooking. So what we did was to follow like home cooking, but wherever we can quickly accelerate the process, we accelerate the process. So that the final product will become nice tasting. Because some of you will be aware that when you cook curries, for example, there's such a thing as waiting for the oil to rise, and then only then you put in the other ingredients. Those are the things that are time consuming. But we reduce the time for some of those stages wherever we can, but basically we follow traditional methods. So that's why our products actually taste very much like homemade, and it's easy to use, practically foolproof, and of course the products are all halal certified. And so retort technology actually is a new form of technology after tin cans. Tin cans that was used during the time of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon's army were using tin cans at that time because the process was invented by a Frenchman, Nicolas Appé. And this innovation here on the pouch is based on the same principles as the tin can. The only thing is that it is flexible, easy to carry, and mind you that the process actually was developed by U.S. Army R&D in Natick, Massachusetts, together with Reynolds, the aluminum people, and Continental Can, which is a canning company, to have a product that's easily used for the space program and also for military excursions and so on. The shelf life actually, if it's declared, it can be more than 4 years, as declared by the military. But basically, we declared the shelf life to be 2 years, to be similar to tin cans, because people might be wondering if the shelf life is more than that. But for military use, it is declared as about 4 years to 5 years. We also service our military here. And of course, the advantages is that it lasts longer, that it's compact, rust-proof, easy to carry, suitable for all occasions, indoors, outdoors, traveling, and so on. And this question about the ready meals technology, as some of you may be aware, the food processing and food preservation technology has developed over the years from the first form of preservation actually is fermentation. That was all natural. And then, of course, the countries which are cold, low temperatures, you have frozen food. I mean, food that is frozen can be kept a long time. So Then later on, the frozen food technology became more sophisticated, using blast freezers, spiral freezers, and so on. So basically reducing the temperature so that it will last longer. Then you have also bottles and tin cans. These are also long shelf life products. Like I mentioned, the tin can actually is a very old technology, and it is still being used now, but it's a bit cumbersome, but still practical for many users. Then one other method of making ready meals actually is freeze drying. Now, freeze drying is a very expensive process. It is, but it's the best in terms of preservation of aroma, appearance, taste, and so on. But it's a very expensive process. But it was used in some militaries for, and also the space program, because it's lightweight. You remove practically 95% of the moisture, which is about of the weight, and it becomes very light. And when you want to use the product, you just add water to it and reconstitute. So that's freeze drying. It is still being used now, but for high-end products, example like freeze-dried prawns or freeze-dried condiments and so on. Some of the dried vegetable that you see, that are green color and so on, many of these could be freeze-dried. But of course, we can also use air-dried, which is not as good as that. And of course, finding the retort pouch, which is a fairly recent innovation. This is what what our process is about. And in terms of robotics, automation, and so on, in terms of food production, for the retort part, for example, over the years, the processing time in terms of the speed per pack can go up to 400 or 500 now. A few hundred now per hours, and there is some the high speed can go up as in the high 500-600s. But then, of course, it depends very much on what product you're making. If, like for example, in our case, we are a lot of our products have got sauces in them, so you cannot actually hasten the speed too much, because there will be spillage. Now, technology and robotics are very important in food production, but there is a limit to it. For example, in our flight kitchen, we use what we call a cook chill process. Now, cook chill process is one of the slowest methods of food preparation for ready meals. Why? Because you need people to do the assembly, to put in the plating of the meals in the proper containers. Like I said, like for example, in airline catering, each airline has got its own crockery with its own logo and all that. So you got to put in for the main meal, say for example, rice at 6 o'clock. You got to put the meat at certain maybe 10 o'clock, vegetable at 2 o'clock. So this has got to be prepared by hand, and then that's why at the kitchen we've got in excess of 1,300 workers to do that, to produce this 50,000 or so meals per day. But what can be accelerated, we accelerate. One very good example of automation where it actually helps us to accelerate in terms of our process is our Seri Halal cleansing machine. We developed this Seri machine in conjunction with, together with a German company that makes industrial washers. And this was certified by JAKIM. And so all they have to do is to arrange all those crockery that comes in on a conveyor. Then it will be taken to the cleanser, and then it will be auto wash and also dry. Now the main difference about this machine is that because it is halal cleansing, you will also have to use clay. So we use powdered clay to be sprayed on and then wash again to follow the guidelines for halal cleansing. And we are one of the few companies that actually strictly follow halal cleansing for our airline meals. Because you remember, when airlines come in from British Airways, for example, they might be having bacon and eggs on their plates, and then after that, when they land in Kuala Lumpur, all the trays, all the crockery is taken out, goes to the kitchen, and it's got to be washed. So we have to take it through all this cleansing process before we reuse those plates. And we do about 500,000 pieces of crockery per day. Now, I've been asked about consumer behavior. I mean, the consumers now tend to be selective in their requirements. This has got a lot to do with the travel, and then especially students who used to study overseas. I have got students or other people who have been working in the government and also in the industry. When I see them, they say, "Oh, when I was studying in London, I was using your product." And I can imagine, because our product was in London, I think close to 30 years ago, and some of these people are back here studying here. I mean, working down here, and they've used our products before. But now the other things, in terms of the demand for flavors and so on, because they study overseas, when they come back here, they'll be looking at products or tastes that they're used to. They travel to Europe and to Italy and so on, having all those Italian dishes, and then to Spain. When they come back here, there is a demand for this kind of product. So local companies started coming up to cater to these requirements. And of course, these are all locally made, and of course, many of those are halal. Now, packaging has become a hot topic because with this so much concern about being biodegradable and all that. So most companies that uses packaging are trying to see how they can make the product more biodegradable. And with the COVID, as you all are aware, before COVID, travel was the in thing. It's become cheaper, more people travel, and tourism was booming. But with the advent of COVID, now most of people will be staying at home and cooking their own meals. And so there is a surge in this e-commerce in terms of people ordering the meals online and then getting the products to be delivered to them. So the rise of this e-commerce and payment online and so on. And this is the way to go now. And even after COVID, I would think the payment or buying online will be something that will be a part of the new normal, as they call it. Q&A session.
Hi, Dato Seri. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I think we learned a lot about how Brahim's products have evolved over the years. I think you mentioned that the younger consumers now have been traveling a lot, and you mentioned they've been to Europe and all that. And actually, in just May this year, we heard the awesome news that Brahim's products are available at more than 400 Moji outlets in Japan. So when some of our readers saw that, they were super excited because they were saying that, oh, next time when they visit Japan, they don't have to pack Brahim's products in their luggage. So we actually were very interested to find out, can you share more about your collaboration with Moji?
Basically, as I mentioned earlier, my partner actually is Japanese, so we've got a lot of contacts with Japanese and also Japanese industries and so on. And over the years, in terms of equipment, in terms of visiting the factories and so on. So we developed our own Brahim's product for a number of years. And within the last 6-7 years, when we started Brahim's Food Japan and started distributing our product into Japan, of course, it will be all in the Japanese language, the packaging will be changed and so on. But basically, it is Brahim's product. So when it was here in Japan, imported by Brahim Food Japan with local distributors and all that, and people see this product, and there was an interest. And a few Japanese companies came to see us and asking whether we could do OEM products for them. And of course, I told them, yes, we can do OEM, provided you have the volume. Well, and why this interest now within the last couple of years? I think this is because they want to have the product is halal. Everyone was gearing towards the Olympics. And as most people might know, about 30% or 25-30% of the participants are Muslim, and they will be looking for halal food. So that's why we had quite a number of inquiries from a Japanese company who wants to do halal and asking us to make these products for them. We did we actually produced product for a few Japanese companies, and after that, I think Moji might have seen some of the products, and they approached us asking us whether we can do some MRE products for them. Of course, we would be happy to do this for them because we know Moji is a major brand there, and they've got something like 600 supermarkets in Japan. And when we started this production for them, I think they were surprised. So in the sense that some Malaysians who stay there, students and so on, started commenting, comments and online and saying that, hey, we can buy halal rendang now from Moji. And so the sales, I wouldn't say it took off, but very well. But then there was interesting. There was a sufficient level of sales that makes Moji wants to continue the business with us.
I understand. I think personally, and all our travelers are very excited to visit Japan when we are able to do so and look out for these products in Moji. Actually, on that note,
visit our restaurant there.
Oh, yeah, I saw that your restaurant's in Tokyo, right? That's really exciting.
We have got one in Tokyo, Ayamadori, near Shibuya, one in Yokohama, and we have got one also near Tokyo Station called Malay Kampung. Malay Kampung was featured, I think, a couple of days ago on the web. I think, it's called Time Out. Just 3 days ago, right up Time Out about Malay Kampung. That's our restaurant there.
I think it's perfect when travelers visit Japan. Sometimes you just miss home food and you want to find taste of food. Yeah.
And that place is managed by a Terengganu boy, and he's the chef there.
I see. Actually, from your presentation, I think Behaviour has a really impressive history, and you've been around for more than 30 years. So it must have been a very amazing journey. Just wondering, what are some of the challenges that you have faced along the way, which are most memorable to you?
Oh, actually, there are quite a number of challenges, because introducing a new product concept is something that is very, very challenging. I mean, if you're selling a new product, you say you're selling canned food, but you decide to do stew or other products and so on. Okay, these are innovations and so on. But here you're talking about an entirely new concept. And when we introduced the retort pouch in 1988, I think we thought it's going to be it should not be any problem. It's simple enough to use. And one anecdote I would like to tell you is this: when we started with MREs, like I mentioned earlier, all you have to do is put it in boiling water for a few minutes to warm up the product. Then you can tear open and use. And now our products, some of it are microwavable. So what happened earlier was that I have got this a doctor friend of mine. When I visited him, gave him some products, and then asked him to try it out. I gave him, in fact, a beef rendang. So the next time I saw him, I was asking him, so Doc, how was the rendang I gave you? He said, oh, it is quite okay, but it's a bit watery. So I asked him, Doc, why is it watery? What did you do? Oh, I did what you told me. I took the pouch, I tear it open, and I put it in boiling water. So I said, you tear the pouch and put in boiling water. You're supposed to put in boiling water first to heat and then tear the pouch. So I thought, oh my God, if a doctor cannot understand the concept, I have trouble. So anyway, we did some promo and so on, and came up with this what you call the tagline clip, meaning take it out from the packet. Zip, take out from the packet, then clip, tear or cut off the top. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Dip, dip, and clip. When you put the packet in the boiling water, then you take it out and you tear it open and use it. So so now everybody knows what's like.
Yeah, it's easy to remember tagline.
Yeah. So that's one of the challenges. The other thing is that to keep up with, to get more people to use our product. One of the challenges I had was when we did the MRE, many of my friends, especially people from my old faculty at the University of Putra, were saying, look, we like your MRE, we like your chicken curry, beef kurma, and so on. But you don't expect us to be using this every day when in the house, tear open the pouch and just serve like that. Say, our people who prepare the meal will be lazy. I mean, because it's too simple. So I told them, okay, we will come with something that probably will make it easier for me preparation. That's when we came out in the 1990s, our range of sauces, cooking sauces. I think we are the one who innovated this cooking sauces in a pouch. what happens is that we prepare the sauces, even with santan, everything included. All you need to do is add in the meat or the chicken or the prawn, and you cook. And when the main ingredient, the meat, for example, or the chicken is cooked, then you have got your chicken, your rendang, your curry, and so on. It is practically foolproof. You don't even have to add salt. So when we introduced the cooking sauce range, it actually took off much faster than the MRE. So we are now having more and more products, actually cooking sauces. And we have also started doing paste, where people are saying, oh, your pouch, when we use the sauce, we can cook enough meals maybe for 2 or 3. How about bigger numbers? Then we came up with the paste, where there are, you can prepare more meals from the packet. And there are also people who want simpler still preparation, and we came up with the simmer sauces. So the simmer sauces, like rendang simmer sauce, that is the one that won an award, and got a lot of people complimenting us on the simmer sauce for rendang, because it was really a very authentic rendang.
So with Ibrahims, no one has any excuse to say that, oh, I can't cook because it's so easy now. Yeah. And I think we have time for just one last question. I think, Dato Seri, you've been in this industry for a really long time. Do you have any advice for brands that are about to start their own line of ready-to-eat meals?
Oh, well, I would say that the ready-to-eat meals, the business is very challenging, especially now with COVID and the encouragement to go to sell online. People who are not selling food now are starting to do food, so that they can they can start selling online. But if you're going to do ready meals, it all depends what type of ready meals you're doing. Are you going to do pouch, or are you going to do other forms of tin cans and so on. But you need to be ahead of your competitors. When I started 30 years ago, there was no competition. We were the only one in the region, and Singapore started 5 years after that, and in Malaysia we were the only one during that time. So we went along, even though we were the only one at that time. We carried on innovating products for MREs to sauces and so on. So you always have to stay ahead, even if there are not many competitors. You need to stay ahead, come up with new products, new usage, and so on. Now, especially if you're using a process that's very simple, then you find a lot of other competitors. So the technological hurdle is important here. Like what I do, retort pouch. I mean, you cannot say, hey, I want to do a retort pouch process tomorrow or next day. You just can't do that. You got to invest in factory and so on. So the hurdle there is higher than, say, if I want to sell packaged nasi lemak. There are thousands of people selling nasi lemak. So your product will have to be different from other people. And of course, you got to get other people to taste your product in the first place. Probably you need to do some advertisement and so on. So the technology that you use and the type of product you come in, is very important. And then also, if you're in an area where many people are doing, you have to stay ahead by coming up with innovative products or some taste sensation, or do some kind of promotion or things like that. So competition, that's the things that you have to face.
So thank you, Dato Seri, for sharing your advice for brands out there who are looking to expand to the ready-eat meals line. And I think, like what he has mentioned, it's very important to be aware of your competitors, to stay innovative, and of course, you need to engage your audience. After all, everyone's more discerning when it comes to food nowadays. So I hope everyone has found this useful, and thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day. Bye.